So you're looking to travel abroad, but you only speak English. My name's Christian, and I've traveled to over 60 countries only speaking English. And here are the 5 easiest countries you can travel to only knowing English. Number 5, Indonesia. And all the countries on this list today are countries that do not speak English as their primary language. All of those countries like Canada, USA, England are all exempt. But Indonesia is my only Asian country on this list, and there's a specific reason for that. That reason is Bali, Indonesia is where all the Australians go for their spring break. It's as comparable as Cancun is for Americans. This means that the locals have adapted to all of the tourists and they have learned English. When I was there, I had absolutely zero problem speaking English with people, especially on Bali, but also some of the other islands that are within Indonesia. And speaking of Indonesia, I actually ranked it in my top 5 of my favorite countries that I've ever been to. Number 4 is Germany. Germany is a really interesting country because it's located centrally in Europe, and basically everyone in the country speaks multiple languages, and English is taught at a young age in schools. Both street signs and metro signs are in German and English, making it super easy to navigate. Now, one fair warning, Germans do have very thick accents on their English. However, when you get into the country and you're surrounded by it, you almost don't even notice it after a little while. But be prepared on trying to get Germans to speak to you within Germany. From my experience of the 3 times that I've been to this country, it is much easier to have conversations with Germans outside of Germany than inside of Germany. And this is not because of grammar or anything. I just find that Germans in Germany are a little less friendly than those who are traveling or are outside of the country. Number 3, the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a small country in the northern part of Europe, and it has some of the friendliest people you'll meet on the entire continent. When you fly into the country, you'll most likely fly into Amsterdam, and you'll be hit with a very stark reality once you get there. Most of the people in Amsterdam don't even speak the native tongue. They only speak English. Amsterdam has become one of the most popular international centers in the world, so English has basically taken over as the native tongue in this city. And I know this from when I traveled there. I was with one of my Dutch friends, and we went to multiple different coffee shops and instantly were greeted with English. And I remember this one time, a barista couldn't even speak Dutch in the Netherlands. Number 2 is Scandinavia. Right now, I know there's someone yelling at the screen, Scandinavia is not a country. Well, you're right. It is a group of 3 countries, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, and I collect them together because they all speak the same level of English. And that level of English is absolutely incredible, and this is no exaggeration. All 3 of those countries speak better English than I do. Everything they say is grammatically correct, their pronunciation is phenomenal, and they seamlessly switch between languages. And like a lot of these countries, all their metro signs, buses, trains are all in English and in the native language. And sometimes you'll even hear the audible message in the train station in English as well. But for the number 1 easiest country to travel to with only English is Iceland. Now, this may be a little bit of a shock for you for how isolated Iceland is from the rest of the world. It's an island in the northern part of the globe. And the country itself doesn't have that many people. The total population of Iceland is just above 300,000 people. But when I tell you everyone speaks English, it's not an exaggeration. And this is not just the capital of Reykjavik, where most of the people is, where most of the international tourists go. Even in the farm countries, the higher north, people speak perfect English. I'm talking about little shops, restaurants, rent-a-car. I remember I was in Iceland and we had a question about our rent-a-car, and I literally called the place and I just said, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" Instantly transitioned over to English, no problem, and it was super crisp, understood the whole thing. They spoke perfectly. And on top of that, Icelandic people are so incredibly friendly, especially to tourists. They're just very happy that you're visiting their country. It's almost impossible not to like the country, so most people speak very highly of it, and they're just incredible people. But travelers, that's gonna be it for the 5 easiest countries for you to travel to with only English. There are a couple more that could have made this list, but this is just the top 5. I would love to know what countries you would add to this list, maybe take off of this list. Let me know. I think Indonesia might be a questionable one for a few of you. I do want to thank all the Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook subscribers for making this channel possible. And remember, guys, travel's a privilege, so enjoy every single second of it. I'll see you next time.